Ten Best Picks presents the top 10 best camcorders. Starting at number 10. Canon HFG60. Canon's HFG60 marks the latest entry in the Vixia compact consumer lineup and Canon's next generation of budget-friendly 4K-equipped camcorders. Initially released in the spring of 2019 alongside the lower-end HFG50, it replaces the older HFG40 model released in 2016. It features a 13 cm sensor, a 25.5 to 382. 5mm lens, a 33 articulating touchscreen, a tilting viewfinder, optical stabilization, DC in, dual card slots, North Dakota filters, time-lapse, microphone, and headphone inputs. For video, it shoots 4K UHD up to 30 fps at 150 megabits per second and 1080p FHD up to 60 fps at 35 megabits per second. And it uses the MPEG-4 codec, which supplies footage in the highly compatible MP4 format. While, for stills, it provides 8.29MP photos. Canon's camcorders are known for delivering excellent image quality and lenses. But Canon's also known for its outstanding phase detection AF system. Thanks to the G60's powerful new Digic DV6 image processor, it also obtains Canon's legendary dual-pixel CMOS AF technology, a feature found on high-end EOS DSLRs. Dual-pixel AF delivers superior autofocusing in both speed and accuracy compared to traditional hybrid AF systems. For more information and price, check out the product links in description underneath the video. At number 9. Sony FDR-AX700. Sony's AX700, initially released in the fall of 2017, replaces the outgoing AX100 flagship. And it now takes the helm as Sony's newest high-performing handycam model aimed at the prosumer market. It features 13 stacked Exmor RS-CMOS sensor, 29.0 to 348. 0mm Zeiss lens, 3.53 articulating touchscreen, tilting viewfinder, optical stabilization, HDR, DC in, dual card slots, North Dakota filters, time-lapse, wireless connectivity, headphone and microphone inputs. And video capabilities, this camera supplies 4K UHD video up to 30 fps at 100 megabits per second in the MPEG-4 codec to the XAVCS and AVC HD formats. And it shoots 1080p FHD video up to 120 fps at 100 megabits per second. For stills, it provides 12MP images in the 3:2 ratio. Sony's equipped the camera with the slow and quick mode, which provides super slow motion HD videos up to a whopping 960 fps. This creates videos that are 32x slower than real-time, and it's a rare feature in this class. But it's one that delivers an enormous amount of control for a consumer camera. Sony has also equipped the camera with S-Log, S-Gamut, and HLG profiles, increasing the camera's dynamic range. Number 8 of my list. Panasonic UX90. Initially released in the fall of 2016 alongside the higher-end UX180, Panasonic's UX90 is the slightly lower-end option in the UX professional camcorder lineup. And this new series is the long-awaited replacement to the AFCAM camcorder lineup. Both cameras share many of the core underlying features and capabilities, with a few key differences that make this the better choice for budget-conscious shooters. It features a 13 MOS sensor, 24.0 to 480mm Leica lens, 3.53 articulating touchscreen, tilting viewfinder, optical stabilization, DC in, dual card slots, North Dakota filters, dual XLR inputs, and headphone input. For video, it shoots 4K UHD up 30 fps at 100 megabits per second and 1080p FHD 60 fps at 50 megabits per second. It shoots using the long-op compression method to either the MAV or MP4 formats. And for stills, it produces 8.6MP images. Panasonic has equipped the camera with 8 selectable gamma modes, including their Sine-like D and V profiles from the flagship VariCam. These profiles increase the camera's dynamic range or contrast, preserving details in the footage. Coming at number 7. Canon XC15. Initially released in the fall of 2016, Canon's XC15 is the follow-up to the earlier XC10 released 1 year prior. It's a camera Canon aims to bridge the gap as a hybrid cinematic shooter that's suited to both stills and videos. And it delivers notable upgrades over the predecessor with added capabilities a pro demands. It features a 13 cm sensor, 27.3 to 273mm lens, 33 articulating touchscreen, optical stabilization, and North Dakota filter, dual card slots, DC-in, wireless connectivity, headphone, and microphone inputs. Like the XC10, it supports both fast and South Dakota cards, which allow the camera to deliver incredibly high data rates, which quickly outcompete the competition. In this case, that's 4K UHD up to 30 FPS at 305 megabits per second using the MPEG-4 codec to the MXF format. It's also one of the few cameras which offers 422 internally, albeit 8-bit like the competition. For 1080p FHD, it shoots 60 FPS at 50 megabits per second. The camera also now features highlight priority, a gamma mode that offers HDR-like effects. Plus, it also inherits Canon's C-Log and EOS standard from its cinema counterparts. Canon's also installed a built-in waveform monitor display tool for better calibration between devices. Alternatively, for stills, it provides 12MP resolution files. And it also offers a mechanical shutter, which combines to create a strong stills camera and a distinct selling point over competitors. The XC15 also provides a unique form factor in comparison to the competition. Most notably, its 90 degrees rotating hand grip, which provides added flexibility when filming at awkward angles. At number 6, Canon XA50. Initially released in the summer of 2019 alongside the XA55, Canon's XA50 marks the latest entry into the 4K prosumer camcorder space. The AX50 is the slightly more affordable of the two offerings, with their main difference ultimately coming down to an SDI terminal. Nevertheless, both cameras are largely identical and are the first in the XA lineup to feature a larger 13 cm sensor than the earlier XA30 model. Outside of its large 13 sensor, it also features a 25.5 to 382. 5mm lens, optical stabilization, 33 articulating touchscreen, tilting viewfinder, dual card slots, dual XLR North Dakota filters, DC-in, and headphone and microphone inputs. Like the HFG60, it inherits Canon's acclaimed dual-pixel CMOS AF from their DSLR lineup, allowing the camera to deliver extraordinary continuous AF and subject tracking. But, unlike that camera, this camera obtains dual XLR inputs, allowing the camera to interface with professional audio devices. And it also obtains face priority and face-only modes, which specifically focus on the faces of subjects. For more information and price, check out the product links in description underneath the video. Halfway of my listed number 5. Sony PXW-Z150. Initially released in the spring of 2016, Sony's Z150 is the next tier in Sony's camcorder lineup, stepping up from the more prosumer-oriented AX series. It replaces the Z100, released 3 years prior, and the next installment into their XD-CAM series. It features a 13x more RS-CMOS sensor, 29.0 to 348.0 Sony G-mm lens, 3.53 articulating touchscreen, tilting viewfinder, optical stabilization North Dakota filters, DC-in, SDI out, dual XLR, wireless connectivity, and a headphone input. For videos, it shoots 4K UHD up to 30 FPS at 100 megabits per second in the MPEG-4 codec to XAVC and AVC HD formats, while 1080p FHD shoots up to 60 FPS at 50 megabits per second. For stills, it produces 14.2MP images. Sony equipped this camera with the slow and quick mode, allowing shoot at 120 FPS in FHD. It's also one of the few cameras in this class with full networking capabilities, allowing FTP transfers and full live streaming or broadcasting without any accessories. And the camera supports full remote control via smartphone or tablet, providing a key selling point over rivals that lack this capability natively. Coming in at number 4 of my list, Sony NX80. Initially released in the fall of 2017 alongside the Z90, Sony's NX80 is their mid-tier 4K camcorder, sitting between the AX and Z series. At first glance, it appears similar to the lower-end AX700. However, it's a camera oriented more towards professional applications and offers notable additions. It features a 13x more RS sensor, 29. 0 to 348. 0 Zeiss mm, 3. 53 articulating touchscreen, tilting viewfinder, dual XLR North Dakota filter, DC-in, and wireless connectivity. For video, it shoots 4K UHD up to 30 FPS at 100 megabits per second in the MPEG-4 codec to the XAVCS and AVC-HD formats, while 1080p FHD shoots at 120 FPS at 100 megabits per second. For stills, it provides 14.2 MP photos. Unlike the Z150, this camera shoots at 120 FPS natively, without the need for the slow and quick mode, a key selling point. However, the camera still offers this mode, and it now allows it to deliver super slow motion video up to 960 FPS. The camera also inherits wireless connectivity, allowing it to stream and support remote control without additional accessories. But what sets this camera apart is its 273-point hybrid AF system, with face detection and lock-on AF for excellent subject tracking. At number 3. Canon XF400. Released alongside the XF400V in the fall of 2017, the XF400 is Canon's latest 4K UHD 60p camcorder for ANG and documentary productions, and the newest entry in the XF detachable handle series of professional cameras. It features 13 CMOS sensor, 25. 5 to 382. 5mm lens, optical stabilization, 3. 53 articulating touchscreen tilting viewfinder, dual card slots, dual XLR, DC-in, North Dakota filters, wireless connectivity, headphone, and microphone inputs. For video, it shoots 4K UHD up to 60 FPS at 150 megabits per second in the MPEG-4 codec to the MP4 format. And it shoots 1080p FHD up to 60 FPS at 35 megabits per second. Alternatively, for stills, it provides 8.29 MP photos. Canon's equipped the camera with slow and fast motion recording, allowing the camera to supply super slow motion videos up to 120 FPS in FHD at an impressive 175 megabits per second. It also obtains wide DR gamma support for seamless gradations and smooth details. Like the XA50, the camera also obtains Canon's dual-pixel CMOS AF for confident tracking and continuous AF performance. This system also comes with face priority and face-only AF, providing precise flexibility over the autofocusing. However, since the camera's Wi-Fi is enabled, it offers wireless transfers via FTP for editing or live streaming, as well as full remote operation. Coming at number 2. Panasonic UX180. Initially released in the fall of 2016, Panasonic's UX180 was released alongside the UX90 as the premium model to replace the AG160. It's a camera that takes much of the core features from its lower-cost counterpart but adds extras to make it more oriented towards working professionals. It features a 13 MOS sensor, 25 to 508mm Leica lens, 3. 53 articulating touchscreen, tilting viewfinder North Dakota filters, optical stabilization, DC-in, dual XLR, dual card slots, and a headphone input. It records DCI 4K up to 24 FPS, 4K UHD up to 60 FPS, and 1080p FHD up to 60 FPS. And it provides footage using the MPEG-4 codec at 150 megabits per second to the MAV, MP4, or AVC-HD formats. The camera also offers super slow motion recording up to 120 FPS in FHD. For stills, it produces 8 MP photos. Unlike competitors, it's one of the rare cameras to offer Cinema 4K recording, the slightly wider 17:9 aspect ratio. And it's also one of few cameras to provide an SDI output, a standard interface for monitoring. Not to mention, its 25.4mm angle of view makes it the widest of any fixed lens camcorder in its price point. And it also inherits the sign-like gammas from Panasonic's flagship VariCam. And number 1. Panasonic DVX200. Initially released in the fall of 2015, the Panasonic DVX200 offers the greatest features set of all of its rivals. It features a 4/3 MOS sensor, 36-398. 7mm Leica lens, a 4:33 articulating touchscreen tilting viewfinder, optical stabilization, DC in, North Dakota filters, dual card slots, dual XLR, SDI out, headphone and microphone inputs. For video, it shoots DCI 4K up 24 fps, 4K UHD up to 60 fps, and 1080p FHD up to 60 fps. And it does so in the MPEG-4 codec at 100 megabits per second to the MAV, MP4 and AVC HD formats. Like the UX180, it supports variable frame rate recording in FHD up to 120 fps. And, for stills, it supplies 8.9MP photos. However, its sensor is the key selling point over rivals. It's the world's first 4/3 large format camcorder with integrated zoom lenses. This addition allows the camera to offer the best low-light performance and greatest depth of field in its class. It also obtains full V-Log and sign-like support, allowing the camera to boast 12 stops of dynamic range. And it obtains advanced recording functionality, such as background recording and pre-recording, both ensuring you never miss a moment. For more information and price, check out the product links in description underneath the video. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe my channel, share this video and hit the like button.